Welcome back to Plants Not Plastic. I'm Nikita, and today we're making one final delicious dessert for the holidays, a marbled chocolate pumpkin bread. This bread is foundationally the same as my banana bread recipe, but the mix of holiday spices, pumpkin as the base, and the swirl of chocolate take it to a festive and wonderful place. A perfect recipe to close out the year. So here's everything you'll need to make this recipe. I'll also leave everything in the description box below, along with a link to the blog post with some beautiful photos and a printable recipe card. We'll start by preheating the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit before making our oat flour. Or you could just use white or whole wheat flour in its place. We'll then add all of our dry ingredients to a mixing bowl: flour, sugar, baking powder, baking soda, cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, and salt, and mix them together. After that, in goes the wet ingredients: pumpkin puree, water or unsweetened plant milk, lemon juice, and vanilla extract. And we'll mix well, making sure to get any dry ingredients at the bottom of the bowl. Transfer about a third of the batter into a small bowl and add the cocoa powder. If you want to put in any additions, this would be the time to do it. I typically add vegan chocolate chips to the cocoa batter, but you could also add chopped nuts to either batter, or even add a teaspoon of turmeric to the pumpkin batter to enhance the color and add some of its health benefits to the loaf. Once you've put in your additions and folded them in, spoon a layer of the pumpkin batter into the base of an 8x4 or 9x5 inch loaf pan and smooth it out. Cover it with a layer of your cocoa batter and spread it evenly without disrupting the layer below. Then repeat until you've used up all of the batter. I typically aim for 2 to 3 layers of each. Once your layers are done, to create the swirl, take a butter knife and make a wave or infinity shape through the loaf pan from end to end a few times until it looks like the two batters are kind of streaked together but aren't muddied, tapping the pan against the counter to remove any air pockets you may have made. Sprinkle any desired toppings over the loaf, like nuts or chocolate chips, and bake for 50 minutes or until a knife comes out of the center mostly clean. Then let it cool for at least 10 to 15 minutes before removing from the pan. I would then recommend that you try to let it cool almost completely, but I understand if you don't want to wait that long before serving one up for a taste test. I love that this recipe can be toned up or down, removing some of the sugar and the chocolate chips or even the cocoa powder to make it more like a mild breakfast loaf. If you made it just as a pure pumpkin bread and sprinkled pumpkin seeds or pepitas over the top before baking, it would even come out pretty similar to the Starbucks pumpkin bread and pair perfectly with a morning cup of coffee or tea. It's pretty difficult to describe how delicious this loaf is. The look of the marbling on its own is seductive enough, but the flavor combination of pumpkin and chocolate is wonderful, rich, chocolatey, and great for the holidays. It's actually one of the first recipes and the first loaf recipe I ever made when I started coming up with my own recipes at the beginning of my plant-based diet transition. And it's one that helped convince me that eating this way was not only sustainable long-term, but proved that eating animal-free, mostly whole plant foods could taste just as good or better than the alternative. It was also the beginning of me having a passion for plant-based cooking. For how it stacks up against an alternative, I'm not going to do a breakdown for the sake of time, but you can check out the full nutrition label on the blog that links out to Chronometer. This recipe, though, is the same as all my others. When comparing it to a vegan or non-vegan option without specialty items or animal products, it will cost you less to make, and without oil or butter, you'll get to eat more of it for the same number of calories. So that's it for today's recipe. If you try it out, let me know in the comments. You can also subscribe to my blog for recipes right to your inbox and connect with me on social media for day-to-day content. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, click the bell, give this video a thumbs up, have a safe and merry holiday, and see you next year. Bye.